Hello everybody, this is the iFan channel here. Today is actually TET, but in one more week I'll return to Massachusetts. So this trip is now winding down, and ever since like yesterday, I do believe the trip is actually trending downwards, to be honest, just because we're almost home. So why not? I'm actually going to spend my last few days in Vietnam. I'm actually going to go to the ground floor, and then I'm actually going to go to the Ngoc Quang temple, which is a 7-minute walk away, to actually worship. Well, I'm not really religious, I'm actually an atheist, but I just worship for fun. And then tomorrow, I'm going to go all the way to Hoi An. So I'll see you guys at the Ngoc Quang temple. Okay guys, after a while, I finally arrived at the Ngoc Quang temple, aka Chua Phuc Hai. And because it is Lunar New Year, it is extremely crowded. Okay guys, I'm actually going to go in. Now fun fact, Obama actually visited the Jade Emperor Pagoda a few years ago during his second term. And over here is what it looks like. Still the same as it was last year, but except a lot more crowded and a lot more claustrophobic. Okay guys, over there is actually a plaque containing the Buddha. And it will be a lot of effort to actually go in, but you can actually see some incenses over there and some people actually praying. Yes, this is how people actually pray, using either the stick or just their hands, kind of like the Y in Thailand. And you can actually see some lanterns as well. And going in will be a lot more claustrophobic over here, but I could actually try to creep in, like maybe like a few hundred meters per hour. Over here is where you lay your stakes and stuff after worshipping. And now I'm actually going to start to ascend into the temple. Yes, where I'm not sure if shoes are actually allowed, but it does seem quite dense inside. Unfortunately, could neither take photos nor record. After a while in claustrophobia, I finally exited, and these sticks are actually called Nyang. Yes, over there. You might have not seen it in the last year's video, but you could actually go upstairs and there's actually a platform for you to actually worship, but unfortunately I cannot actually record inside. Unfortunately, despite the crowds, the Ngoc Quang temple would actually close in about 4 minutes. Now, fun facts about this temple: not only are there like 2 names, there's actually another name called Temple Dak Cao, yes, in French. And this temple was first constructed in 1909 and was actually designed by Lu Min. Due to the fact there is so much traffic, why not? I'm actually going to look for something to eat. Yes, as you can see, the traffic is absolutely immense, both pedestrian as well as motorcycle traffic. Now, after a few minutes finding a restaurant, I finally arrived at one. It is actually this, which is actually a vegan restaurant. Yes, and I'm not even joking. You actually sit crisscross applesauce and actually eat, and you're forced to take off your shoes as well. Yes, this is quite a quirky restaurant, idiosyncratic to be honest, but why not? I'm actually going to try a new experience. Now, due to the fact I'm actually going to try some exotic food, why not? I'm actually going to try Tao Hu Ki Kia Nuk Zua, which is actually braised tofu with coconut juice. Okay guys, here's my tofu I'm actually going to eat, and then I'm just going to go around or return to the hotel. I'm not really sure what I'll do. I've just finished eating, and despite the fact the Ngoc Quang temple is officially closed based on Google Maps due to the crowds and Lunar New Year, it is still open. As you can see, yeah, there are basically a ton of people. Now the funny thing is, this is not only a Buddhist temple, it's also a Taoist and Confucian temple, hence you do have multiple design elements. And if you don't know, Lu Min is actually somebody from Guangdong province in China. Unfortunately, due to all the TET festivities, you do see a ton of litter. Now, this makes Vietnam quite uncivilized, to be honest, and not really clean compared to, like, say, Scandinavia, Switzerland, Singapore. In Singapore, litter will be fined. Yes, if you're littering, you will be fined, even in the US. But I see people still litter in Boston, to be honest. In fact, in countries like Bosnia and Macedonia and stuff, I don't really see much litter around. Okay guys, I'm now at my hotel room for the very last night. Yes, I actually slept 6 nights and will sleep one more night, so 7 nights all in total. And then tomorrow I'm actually going to take the train all the way to Hoi An. Okay guys, it's a new morning. Unfortunately, I do have strong mucus. I do believe I have some catarrh, just like 2 years ago, but luckily I don't have any laryngitis. And today, I'm actually going to take the train all the way from Ho Chi Minh City to Da Nang. And then from Da Nang, I'm actually going to check into a hotel first and then go all the way to Hoi An. So see you guys at the Gare Saigon. Yes, the train station is not called the Ho Chi Minh City train station, but the Saigon train station. Despite the fact the name has changed for 50 years. Okay guys, despite the fact I actually booked GrabCar Plus instead of GrabCar 7, I actually got the Suzuki Ertiga over here. And look at it, there are actually 7 seats. I'm not even joking. Yes, 7 seats, which is absolutely insane to be honest. So I ended up saving like at least $1, but still got GrabCar 7. I just arrived at the Gare Saigon, aka the train station, and over there is actually the Suzuki. And right now I'm actually going to enter the train station and eat somewhere around here and wait for around 2 hours before taking the train to, you guessed it, Hoi An. Now this is the very first time I actually rode a train in Vietnam, to be honest, because my family would typically take me by car, so I don't really know how the train is. But do you know what? Gare actually means la gare, and it actually is inherited from French, yes. After a while, I finally ordered my meal over here for 55,000 dong. So here's the banh mi cha, and over there is actually the banh bao. And yes, I actually paid 55,000, which is around a bit more than $2. Quite a decent value to be honest, because for $2 I would only expect like maybe a hamburger at McDonald's in the US. This is what the Gare Saigon actually looks like. Yes, the train station, and from what I could tell, it is a lot more modernized and far more advanced than the Mostar train station. Yes, despite the fact Vietnam is less developed than every single European country based on HDI. I'm not even joking. You can see like TVs and stuff, and it seems a lot more modernized. In like Bosnia, you don't even have any screen at all, and everything is based on paper. Yes. And if you bought a ticket online, you do have to print out a sheet of paper at the ticket counter. But here, there are QR codes and stuff. Let me show you. Okay guys, this is the boarding pass. Yes, it is far more advanced than that of Bosnia. In fact, Bosnia's like transit system is extremely antiquated. And Vietnam like resembles more like other European countries like France, Germany, Czech Republic, Slovakia, Poland, Austria, and other EU member states than like Bosnia, to be honest, just because it is digitized. Like, I'm kind of shocked Bosnia's train system is so antiquated. But over here are actually timetables, yeah. And yes, they're actually digitized, to be honest. Sort of. And over there is actually the ticket counter. Now as you can see, there are a lot of paintings around here. You could actually see. And in Viet they call it Sun Mai. Yes, paintings. But over here it is. Some more and more paintings and stuff. Now this looks a lot better than the Mostar station, which I do believe is quite bleak, to be honest. And bland, of course. But yes, the Ho Chi Minh City train station, in a gist, is far more modernized than the Mostar. Sorry if it's extremely loud. I'm now boarding the train, yes. Even though this train will leave in about 15 minutes. After a while, the train actually departs, yes. And it does go slowly at first, but I'm not sure how the speed is. And over here is what the bed looks like. And this is the top. As you guys can see, the top beds. There are actually 4 beds, and I'm actually sleeping with the family, to be honest. A family of 3. And over there is where my bag is, and luckily there's actually a power port, but I'm not sure how reliable it is, because I've learned my lesson in Romania, where the charger ends up being fried. Yes, in Romania. In fact, I had to buy new chargers and stuff in Budapest just because of the charger fiasco in Bucharest. I'm now in the city of Hoi An over there, And over there is actually Cao Dai Temple, yes. Now Cao Dai is actually a religion in Vietnam. Now Cao Dai is actually a Vietnamese religion, kind of a fringe religion. Not really Buddhist or Taoist, Confucianist or folk or anything. It was actually founded in 1926 in Tay Ninh province, which is somewhere near Ho Chi Minh City, near Cambodia, to be honest. Yes, in Tay Ninh, like after my grandparents were born. Okay guys, now I'm in Dong Nai province, and the scenery gets a lot more epic here. As you guys all know, despite having Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City, which are not particularly beautiful cities, Vietnam does have quite amazing scenery, especially on the coast and especially in the mountains, to be honest, such as Lao Cai, Sapa and stuff. But over here it is, Dong Nai province, the mountains now starts to get decidedly rural. Unfortunately, due to the fact the territory is starting to get decidedly rural. As you can see with a ton of forest, I could not get any internet signal anywhere, and I'm now stuck in Edge. I'm not even joking. Okay guys, we left Dong Nai County and we're finally in Binh Thuong County over here. Yes, and it starts to get very poor, to be honest, and less developed than Ho Chi Minh City. I've seen several shacks. Yes, shacks. I'm not even joking. Now, if you don't know, Binh Thuong is not really that poor, but it is poor relative to Vietnam as a whole. I've seen its HDI is around 0.700, which is still on a high scale, especially compared with Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, and like Africa and stuff. But it is definitely poorer than the Vietnam average at 0.726. Now over here it is, Gia Huyen. Now this looks a lot better than like the outskirts, but still not gonna be as good as Ho Chi Minh City or Tu Dong Mot or anything, but still whatever. Now I'm in the canteen and I actually paid 50,000 Vietnamese dong, aka $2 for this bowl of rice. Yes, unfortunately there are only two options, noodle and rice, so this is it, yeah, for dinner. Now it's around like 5:45, and yes, we're kind of somewhere in Gia Huyen, and yeah, this is what the chairs actually look like. But if you want to sit in the chairs for the train, this is what it looks like. A lot more comfortable. Not like many European trains, but still a bit less clean. Funny thing is, Binh Thuong province is not even the poorest province or least developed province I visited in this trip. In fact, Dong Thap province and Tiên Gian are even less developed. But I've actually slept through. While I was eating dinner, I'm actually greeted to all the mountains and stuff. It is absolutely gorgeous, but still nowhere as gorgeous as Dak Lak, where the lot is. But here it is. Kind of reminds me of Croatia and Bosnia stuff. After eating the rice, I decided to pay 30,000 Vietnamese dong for two breads. Up here is jambon, they call it chabon over in Vietnam. And over there is just a plain bread. So I'm actually gonna eat, and then I'm just going to like take a rest. I'm not sure if I can really sleep because the train is kind of a bit noisy. And even with like noise cancelling, I cannot really cancel out. So why not, I'm just gonna eat. Apologies, and later found out this bread is also a jambon bread, of course with pate. Okay guys, I do have a revelation. Unfortunately, due to the fact many of the restrooms are kind of a bit dirty, therefore I decided not to take any shower and I'm just gonna sleep as is, to be honest. After a few hours I finally arrived at this train station. I'm still south of Nha Trang over here, and the funny thing is, this station is actually named after my mother and father, respectively. After a while, I finally arrived in Nha Trang, which is a famous resort city over here. Good morning, guys. Due to the fact many of the children are extremely noisy and annoying, I did have to wake up at around 6 a.m. despite only having slept at around like 1 a.m. or something, so I only slept like 5 hours. I'm actually gonna try to drink coffee to actually neuter it. But as you can see, the scenery is absolutely epic over here. I'm now very close to Hoi An at this point. As you guys can see, I'm kind of around Quang Ngai province. I'm between Phan Thiet and Hoi An, I was not able to see anything because it was actually dark. But over here it is, absolutely epic. I'm now very close to Da Nang. I'm currently in Tam An, which is actually a suburb of Tam Kỳ in Quang Nam province, and over here is my meal for breakfast. I actually paid 15,000 Vietnamese dong for this noodles, aka me, and I'm actually going to eat for a bit before I enter Da Nang. Now it's 10:30 a.m. and after about 20 hours, yes, 20 hours, I finally arrived in Da Nang. Yes, finally. I'm now going to exit the train. I just exited the train station. I'm now waiting for a taxi, a Grab taxi to take me all the way to Royal Family Hotel to actually drop off the bags. After about 10 minutes, I finally arrived at Royal Family Hotel in Da Nang. I'm actually gonna leave my bags here, check in, and then go to Hoi An. Okay guys, now I'm on the way to Hoi An, but I'm still in Da Nang over here. Over there is actually the Da Nang beach. It does look quite serene, to be honest. You could actually see the South China Sea over here, and you could also see mountains, so it does give kind of a Monaco-like appearance, but not really, to be honest. I do believe this is more like Budva or something, or Miami Beach. Now before we go to Hoi An, due to the fact Hoi An is actually a tourist trap, I'm actually going to stop by here, Quan Lun Map, La Rue, and I'm actually going to eat the seafood fried rice. Now over here is a free appetizer, Ban Da, as it's called. Okay guys, here's my seafood fried rice. It actually cost 110,000 Vietnamese dong, aka $4.40. Okay guys, due to the fact the bus is rather vague, why not I'd actually use a Grab over here to actually get all the way to Hoi An. It actually costs 350,000 Vietnamese dong, or $14 US using cash. After about 45 minutes, I finally arrived in Hoi An city over here, and now I'm actually just going to enjoy the city for the evening and actually go back to Da Nang around maybe 7-8 p.m. ish, who knows. Now for me, despite the fact I love Hoi An due to its idiosyncrasy compared to many other cities in Vietnam, the thing is, because Hoi An is quite a touristy city, therefore accommodations could be quite expensive. As you can see, like you would expect to pay at least 400,000 Vietnamese dong, aka around aka at least $16 US. In contrast, I actually only paid $10 a night. Yes, $10 a night for the Royal Family Hotel in Da Nang. And with an extra $1 or $2, you could actually book a round-trip bus ticket, which could go from Da Nang to Hoi An and then back to Da Nang. Now from Da Nang to Hoi An is actually around 15 miles. Just a bit less than 30 kilometers. Now from what I found out, even though I'm not a big fan of hostels, hostels only cost around $5, so Hoi An is quite affordable if you're savvy enough to be on booking.com. Now due to the fact that this museum is really close to where I am, therefore I'm actually going to walk to the Precious Art Gallery Museum of Hoi An. Okay guys, over here is the Precious Heritage Art Gallery and Museum, and it does say free entrance over here, so you could actually enter for free, but I'm not sure if I could take pictures or not. Now over here you could actually find pictures and stuff of people of various ethnicities, including mountainous people, Vietnamese people and stuff, and you even see a model of the Vietnamese long dress as well. Not only could you see Vietnamese people in various ethnic groups, you actually see up to 56 out of 54 different ethnic groups, yes, and you could also buy some photographs as well. And here you could actually buy 4 wooden photos and get 1 free as well. Okay guys, even though the gallery does allow video, the museums don't allow any video, and in the museum I've seen every single ethnic group from the Vietnamese all the way to Thais, Cambodians, Laotians, Hmong, Muong, the Thai people, as well as several others. Effectively every single ethnic group, even some of the most obscure minorities with only 100 members. But guess what I did not see? The Chinese. As you guys know, Vietnam as well as other Asian countries, especially in Southeast Asia, have a very large Chinese population. And it's ironic to not see any, but the thing is, it does include like every single ethnic group in detail. and not only the picture of a model, aka an old person or sometimes even a young person, but you can also see the traditional dress as well. And some ethnic groups actually do dye their teeth black. Over here is the museum. I do recommend you guys check it out because it is actually free. Now, whilst looking for an attraction, over here is an example of an older Vietnamese house. After a while, I'm actually going to walk to Hoi An, Phuc Thien. I'm now using an obscure road to actually cross. Over here is a residential road in Hoi An, yes. A residential road, and it looks far more serene than like the main streets where it's filled with tourists and absolutely ravaged with tourists and stuff. But over here it is a typical resident road in Hoi An. Now, as you guys can see, many doors are actually open, so this is actually a typical house in Hoi An, yes. And unfortunately somebody's sleeping, so you have to be quiet. But yeah, you could actually see some altars and stuff, and even more. And none of these are very typical in the US or Canada or Europe. Maybe in certain parts of rural Europe, specifically outside of Western Europe, but I don't really hear much in like the US. Now, before visiting major temple, why not I'd visit Hoi An Triuk Chao over there. And yes, this is what the temple actually looks like. It was actually built by the Triuk Chao Chinese in 1845 to meet with one another and worship gods and goddesses who control and prevent sea breakers and wind walls from harming the seafaring people. And over here it is, the interior, some tripping houses, and you could actually see some gods and goddesses and stuff, some portraits, as well as Chinese characters. Here are some more. Over here is one worshipping terrace, and if you were to go there to the center, you would actually find another one. Yes, an even bigger worship center. Yes, over there. And there's also one more. No, unfortunately, despite being in the third day of Lunar New Year, the Hoi An market actually closes, so I cannot really access the market anyways, so I cannot really show you guys what is inside the market. Now, if you guys don't know, Hoi An is a city of 150,000 people with a population density of around 6,000 per square mile, so about as dense as Quincy. But the truth is, despite the fact Hoi An has like 8 times less people than Da Nang, just 15 miles north. In fact, I've seen a lot more people in Hoi An than Da Nang, because Hoi An is more unique. And I do like it, Hoi An more to Hollywood and Da Nang more to like say downtown Los Angeles. Now, Hoi An actually dates back to the medieval era, and the old town of Hoi An is actually reminiscent of any 15th century trading port in Southeast Asia with both traditional as well as foreign architectural elements. And since 1999, Hoi An has been recognized as a UNESCO heritage site, and due to the fact it is actually recognized, hence you do see a flock of tourists. Yes, over here, basically everywhere. Like, I've seen more white people than like, I don't even know. Now in 2008, Top Gear did visit Hoi An and actually bought some like silk clothing, because all the clothing are a bit damp due to all the biking from like Ho Chi Minh City all the way to Hoi An, which took at least maybe 3 or 4 days, to be honest. And despite the fact this is not the Phuc Thien, this is actually Hai Nam over here, which I do believe is also equally big, to be honest. Another Chinese temple in Hoi An, within several hundred meters. Now over here you can actually see some worshipping terraces, including this, which is actually the god of wealth. And you can actually see more, including the god tablet, as well as this, which is actually the spirit tablet over here. Now in here you'll find another worshipping terrace, this time featuring tablets and stuff. And over here you could actually see some more as well of the temple, including some oranges. Actually, are these clementines and stuff? And over there are some plants and stuff for the festivities, and even more plants. And here are some terraces, and this is the whole courtyard of the temple. I'm actually going to tell you guys the history about it. Now, the Hoi An Assembly Hall was actually built in 1875 to actually honor the 108 Hainanese merchants who were wrongfully accused of piracy and then executed. And over here is the exterior facade. Now, adjacent to the Hoi An Assembly Hall is another temple. I'm not even joking. Yes, another temple. Now, over here is actually the Min Hung Ancestor Worship House. Now, this is where you actually worship the gods and stuff. And you can even buy face masks as well as lanterns in this temple. And over here where the incense is burned, aka the Nyang, yes. Over here is another worship room. Now as we approach evening, it gets a lot more crowded, and guess what? Another temple adjacent to two other temples, yes. Quan Kong Temple now. What the hell, guys? It was built in 1653 and it was dedicated to Quan Kong, a highly esteemed Chinese general who was Vietnamese to be the symbol of loyalty, sincerity, integrity and justice. Now adjoining with the Quan Kong Temple are the Tu Hua art exhibition as well as the Quan Am Temple. Okay guys, over here is actually the worship room for the Quan Am Temple. Yes, with Buddha elements and stuff and Buddhist elements. Kind of still reminiscent of many Chinese temples, however. And over here actually the artworks. Yes. Just like I show you guys, there's actually a gallery in here. And if you go out there, even more artworks and stuff. Okay guys, over here actually denotes some of the years. This year is the year of the snake. And over here is actually what the Quan Kong Temple actually looks like, with some horses and stuff. This is distinctively Chinese over here. A worshipping platform. And why not? I'm actually going to leave. But this temple is quite dope, to be honest. I'm actually now going to leave for the more famous temple. Over here is an extension of the Hoi An market. And why not? I just walk a few hundred more steps. Yes, there are so many temples around here, at least 5 or 6 within the vicinity, all Chinese. And over here it is Fujian Temple. Now if you don't know, Fujian actually meant Fujian. Yes, Fujian province. I'm not even joking. And it is one of the historical relics with Chinese architecture, also a relic of 3 communities of Vietnamese, Chinese and Japanese living together. And it is one of Hoi An's biggest icons. Now this assembly hall was actually built by the Fujianese in 1690, who actually moved to Hoi An to live and build. And the assembly hall was originally built entirely of wood and was later rebuilt in 1757 with bricks and a tile roof as it is today. And this is actually used to worship Tian Hao, yes, Mazu sea goddess. Remember Tian Hao? There are actually several different temples I've visited dedicated to Tian Hao. Okay guys, I'm actually going to enter the Fujian Assembly Hall over here. And yes, there are actually some incense. But unfortunately, I could not really see any smoke, which is actually good. Well, some smoke to be honest, but not really visible. Okay guys, now I just entered and this is what the gate actually looks like. Okay guys, I just entered. Yes, as you can see, you could actually do some money exchange over here. No commission, which is quite decent to be honest. And the exchange rate seems kind of a bit decent, which is beneficial to be honest. And over there is actually the gate. You could actually enter and exit from this gate. And why not, I'll show you guys the inside of this temple. Okay guys, I just went inside of the temple. Over here it is extremely crowded, even more crowded than several of the other temples. And yes, This is actually the interior. You do see a lot of the same elements, but this is a bit different in that it actually worships Mazu, the sea goddess. Unfortunately, there's actually a queue of some sort, but over there is actually the sea goddess. You could also see the yellow apricot flowers for TET. And over there is the sea goddess in closer view. And you can see over there is a drum, and this is an even closer view of Mazu. Now over here where you see some of the tablets to actually worship, yes. Just like some of the other temples. And over here it shows some like, I do believe dead people. Well, they're all in black and white, and those are actually, many of them are early 20th century, so of course they're going to be dead. But some seen over there are actually born in the 20th century, and some even died in the 21st. But these are actually tablets. I'm currently outside the temple now, and due to the fact it is actually TET, you would actually see TET signage over here. Unfortunately, it does not denote the year, but let's assume it's the year of the snake. And you could actually see some flowers over here. And why not? I'm actually going to go out and just go around Hoi An a bit more. And yes, despite being a city of tourists, there's still a lot of loose dogs, unfortunately, which could attack tourists and stuff. Okay guys, due to the fact I've actually visited way too many temples, this is going to be the very last temple I'm going to visit in Hoi An. Yes, I'm not even joking. There are just way too many. And this also happens to be the first time I see a pedestrian road in Vietnam, as many roads in Vietnam are littered with motorcycles. Except there's still some motorcyclists. Over here it is, yes, the temple. Very last temple I'm gonna visit, due to the fact there are way too many just within a few blocks. Yes, I'm not even joking. Okay guys, here's the interior of the temple. Wow, I can't even believe I actually went to at least 6 or 7 different temples, which is absolutely insane. There's actually a stray dog. Yes, actually 2. I'm not even joking. I was scared I might get chased or something. But why not? Let's go in. Okay guys, before this gets absolutely insane, why not? I'll show you guys the very last temple, the interior, the worshiping places and stuff. Yes, I can't even believe there are this many temples in Hoi An. But again, like over here is actually the gate. I'm not just going to go out because this is getting insane. Now, just like other Vietnamese cities, a characteristic of Hoi An is you could actually buy a lot of souvenirs and stuff. Over here are some souvenirs. And yes, this is actually the bag shop, cloth and shoes. Yes, I'm not going to buy anything because I don't want to have to declare anything at customs other than some of the electronics. But I heard many of the electronics are actually counterfeit, so maybe I had to drop it somewhere. Who knows? And yes, if you haven't known, I was actually flagged for secondary despite having no criminal record whatsoever. In the past 7 years, I meant. But really, it was an event like around 1.5 years ago when I was actually in Canada. I actually bought supermarket food and then returned to the US, and then I was flagged for secondary, and then ever since then I was flagged like for every single trip. I'm not even joking. After a while, I'm now entering the Quan Thang ancient house. I'm not sure if this is correct or not. Okay guys, I ended up paying 20,000 Vietnamese dong to enter somebody's house. And over here is the ancestor of the owner. Yes, I don't know what century he was from, but I do believe 19th century, 18th century something. Now this house is extremely obscure, to be honest. And I'll show you guys who the owner is over there. He's like in his like 80s, I do believe so. But over here is what his house actually looks like. I'm not even joking. And over here some images. So you have like a dining room, living room complex, another dining room, and over here is actually the kitchen. So quite primitive, to be honest, but in reality they're actually modern appliances. You could also buy like food and stuff. And this is what the kitchen actually looks like. Yes, I can't even believe I entered somebody's house, to be honest, which is actually a museum on Google Maps. Now up there, even more outdoors. Okay guys, this is what his house actually looks like. I'm now completely outside and you could actually see some Vietnamese tacos around here. I might eat some like for dinner, but not yet, to be honest. One lady actually negotiated 30,000, but I actually refused, not because it is not a good price, but because I'm not ready to eat dinner yet. Now over here is a statue of some obscure Polish guy, Kazimierz Kwiatkowski. Over here, he actually died when he was 53 years old in 1997. That meant he was born after the guy who actually owned the Quan Tang house. Unfortunately, the city is starting to get extremely crowded. Okay guys, you do know my rule. I'm not gonna show you any more temples. Specifically, this is the congregation hall for the Cantonese. After the temple, I decided to just walk across this bridge. This is not the Chua Khao at all, but this is just a regular bridge. But you can actually see different parts of Hoi An, and Hoi An is extremely crowded, kind of like Hallstatt in Austria, Dubrovnik in Croatia, and several others. In fact, Zagreb does not really receive many tourists, but Dubrovnik absolutely does. And over there is actually the boat festival. I actually first found this out like in a Top Gear episode, to be honest, despite the fact I visited Hoi An when I was a young child. Over here you can see several boats and stuff. Now over here you would see a lot of boats and stuff, making Hoi An quite serene, but in fact, due to the infestation of tourists and stuff, I don't really think Hoi An is that tranquil as like in the 20th century, when it was just like some like small fishing town, to be honest. But over here it is absolutely littered with tourists. Like several cities I could recall, including Dubrovnik, having this many tourists, but oh my goodness, basically tourists come from all over the world. In fact, quite a significant minority of Asians are actually Chinese or Korean or Japanese. Of course I know it is TET, but in Ho Chi Minh City the crowds are only restricted to a certain section of District 1, and in the 9, from what I saw, it is virtually empty, to be honest. And I can't even believe how banh mi actually costs like 40,000 Vietnamese dong. Even Ho Chi Minh City actually bought that same banh mi for only 20,000. Yes, double the price. But the thing is, due to the constant influx of tourists, even if I go on the other side of the river, there are actually a lot of like Western food. As you can see, Bob Marley, reggae, rock and roll, K-food, Mr. Bean, yes. None of these are actually Vietnamese food, and some actually sell grilled burgers and stuff. So a lot of more Europeanized chains here. But over here is another view of Hoi An, absolutely delightful. But my only complaint is tons and tons of tourists. Now with the gondola, this kind of is reminiscent of Venice. Hence I liken this to the Vietnamese Amsterdam, because they're actually roads and stuff. In Venice, it's essentially just canals. And yes, you even see more Western stuff such as steak. I'm now going to cross the bridge over the Tubon River over there to actually return to the old town. Now, despite the fact I'm actually scared of dogs and paranoid of being chased, luckily this dog actually crossed the roads and actually knows about the traffic laws and stuff. Yes, when there are no motorcycles, the dog actually crosses the road. I'm not even joking. I'm now on my way to the famous bridge Chua Khao. Now I'm officially on my way to the Chua Khao over here. Now as you can see, that is actually Vietnam and Japan. I do believe there's an alliance related to this bridge, but as you can see over there is actually a boat of some sort, actually a ship. And yes, it does discuss about the historical relationship between Vietnam and Nagasaki. And fun fact, it actually began in the 16th century. And this is called the Red Seal ship, aka Xuyen Sen. And even though I could not really go to the Silk Village as it's closed and it is a bit far, the fact is there's actually Silk Village where you could actually buy silk clothing. And fun fact, that was where Top Gear actually bought their clothing. Now over here is yet one of the many temples. Yes, Kampho temple. I'm not even joking. I'm still not gonna go in. It's like kind of a waste of time. Overall, here are my opinions of Hoi An. It is quite a unique city, but in fact, it is literally ravaged by tourists and stuff from every walk of the globe. And also, I do believe at some places the prices are extortionate, such as at some restaurants and stuff. Even water is more expensive. I actually paid 10,000 dong instead of 7,000 for water. I'm not sure how much the convenience stores actually cost over here, as I've never seen one. So overall, I would recommend you guys visit Hoi An for like one day, and basically only one day, because the old town is kind of a bit small and a bit contained, and you could easily finish in just one day, to be honest. And then spend the rest of your time in Da Nang or Hue or something, because those two cities actually do have some history. Now just before the bridge, you would actually see this, which is actually the Japanese Culture Gallery. Unfortunately, it is actually closed. Now this bridge actually spans 18 meters, and it was built somewhere around 300 years ago, so why not? I'm actually going to go in. Unfortunately, internet connection is quite spotty due to all the congestion and stuff, so why not? I'm just gonna cross through the bridge and then tell you guys the history of the bridge once I have internet connectivity. Yes, but over here is the entire length of the bridge. Unfortunately, there are a ton of crowds, so it might take a few minutes to even cross 18 meters. I'm not even joking. Yeah, but you can actually see the entire Hoi An here. And yes, there are a lot of boats and tons and tons and tons of people. And guess what? You actually see a worship site, yes, at this bridge. I'm not even joking. There are basically at least 10 different temples. And hence it's actually called the Chor Khao, which is actually Pagoda Bridge. Literally. Now over here is Hoi An at night, yes. It looks absolutely serene with all the boats and stuff, but still littered with tourists everywhere. I could not even cross this bridge at all. I'm kind of stuck in a standstill by this point. But as you can see, there are lots of lanterns, and you can even see it in Top Gear, to be honest. Now to actually enjoy the boat show, I actually bought something for 40,000 Vietnamese dong to actually eat. Over here it is, Vietnamese tacos, yes. I'm only gonna eat this, and then because the food here is way too overpriced, I'm actually going to go back to Da Nang and actually eat over there. But as you can see, these are actually boats, and it is quite enjoyable at night. Now over here, all the boats and stuff, as you can see, you can actually relax whilst the gondola actually rides you around the Subon River. Yes, I'm not even joking. And I do believe gondolas are absolutely overpriced. Just take Venice, for example, where gondolas could cost like 80 euros. Yes, 80 euros for just a freaking gondola. Well, you could easily ride the ACTV and it'll be cheaper. But as you can see, it is absolutely a serene view here. Now the last thing I'm gonna do is to go to the Hoi An market. Okay guys, I just arrived in the extremely crowded Hoi An night market over here, where you can actually find bread and stuff, as well as even more BBQ, ice cream here, grilled rice paper cake, aka Vietnamese taco or pizza, like you name it. You can actually get all the street food here, and even like you could even buy lanterns as well. You could even get what is known as chair over here for a low price of 15,000 Vietnamese dong. You would even find more overcrowded Vietnamese restaurants. You can even find soft toys for sale, as well as like replica bikes and stuff, motorcycles, and even some action figures as well as some paintings and artwork over here. And you can even buy handbags as well. You can even find shoes, as well as jewelry and some knockoff products. You could even find some counterfeit bags that would probably get you hassled at US Customs. Now one of the last things I'm gonna show you is this house, because it actually still has a CRT television. I'm not even joking. Now over there is the very last view of the Pagoda Bridge. Sorry if you can't see well, it is dark. But over here are the boats and stuff. Now I'm actually going to return to Da Nang. I'm now in a much quieter part of Hoi An, and over there is actually the snake, symbolizing the New Year animal. And why not, I'm just gonna hell grab, yes. I can't really deal with all the pedestrian traffic nor the prices, so why not, I'm just gonna eat at Da Nang. Now I'm currently waiting for the taxi, but as you can see, that is a Chinese car. I'm not even joking. Despite being a Toyota, it is actually being used by a few Han people. Unfortunately, whilst waiting for a Grab, I was actually harassed by this driver who claimed like he could actually take me immediately, but then charged like 650,000 Vietnamese dong rather than like 350,000. After about 15 minutes of waiting, I finally got a taxi. Yes, the longest I've ever waited. I think Hoi An is way too over-traveled. After a while, I finally arrived at my hotel, and guess how much I actually paid for this hotel? 260,000 dong, $10.40. The bed is softer than the previous hotel. Kind of amazing, to be honest. But this is a fully fledged 3-star hotel for only $10.40. In the US, don't even expect anything, to be honest. This is insane. How you get this hotel for only $10.40 a night. Now after checking into the hotel, I decided to eat at a cheaper restaurant over here. Now every single restaurant around this area is like seafood and stuff, but over here it is miso bar. I actually paid 80,000 Vietnamese dong for this before like any like fees or anything. And this seems a lot more authentic than the one I've seen in Canter. All in all, I paid around 95,000 Vietnamese dong, which is a bit less than $4, which is quite a decent deal, especially for this restaurant. And what's even luckier is because I do have 10,000 Vietnamese dong at least see from the restaurant. I'm not joking. I got to save 10,000 Vietnamese dong, so I only paid like 85,000. Good morning, guys. After a night at the $10 hotel, I'm finally gonna check out. Okay, I'm now going down to the first floor, and fun fact, this hotel, despite being $10, is very, very clean. In fact, $10 would not even get you a hostel in the US. I've just closed the door. What the hell is this? Okay, guys, yes. I don't think the elevator actually works, so I'm actually gonna choose another one. I just don't even know why I'm now going to choose the right elevator, or even attempt to. But today I'm actually going to go to Ba Na Hills, which is actually in Da Nang. And then afterwards I'm going to go to the Da Nang International Airport, which is actually close to the city center, kind of like Boston Logan Airport. And actually fly all the way to Hanoi, where I'll arrive at the Noi Bai International Airport, the very last city of the trip. After a while, I finally arrived here, which is actually Imo's Vietnamese Taste. Now, from what I have seen, this is essentially the only Vietnamese restaurant within a 10-minute walk from my hotel. Yes, that's absolutely insane, despite the fact there are actually at least a few dozen restaurants, mainly seafood. Okay, guys, as you can see, there's actually 10% surcharge just because of all the TET. And over here is my meal. This is what my meal actually looks like. After eating lunch, I decided to go to Ba Na Hills. Yes, it is actually also 15 miles away, just like Hoi An. I'm not even joking. So why not? I'm actually going to ride on the Toyota Avanza, which is actually a Grab car. Now I'm on my way to the Ba Na Hills, and over here is actually the wrong bridge. And you could actually see Year of the Snake embellishments around Da Nang as well. After about 380,000 Vietnamese dong, aka $15.20, I finally arrived at the Ba Na Hills here. It is actually a 45-minute drive from Da Nang. And why not? I'm actually going to take the bus which would take me all the way up to Ba Na Hills. Okay guys, I'm currently in the bus and it really resembles any European Flixbus or whatever, but this actually takes you to the Ba Na Hills. Definitely no city bus. After about 5 minutes on a shuttle, I finally arrived at Ba Na Hills, which is actually an amusement park or even theme park, to be honest. And what I heard, there's actually the Golden Bridge, aka the Fingers Bridge, so quite iconic and a symbol of Da Nang since like 2018. But why not? I'm actually going to go into the SunWorld. Now in the entrance of the Ba Na Hills, you actually see this, which is actually a Vietnamese dress museum over here, and it shows like all of the Vietnamese dresses. I'm not sure from how long, but yes, I do believe this is actually a museum over here, and I do believe this is also a store as well. Now over here is actually a food court, and fun fact, I actually saw a one hot dog sandwich for sale for like $4 US. Yes, 100,000 dong. I'm not even joking. That is quite expensive, even in the US, let alone Vietnam. In fact, I paid that same price probably somewhere in Switzerland or Norway. Now I'm actually going on the Hoi An station over here to actually go to the SunWorld. Okay guys, I paid 950,000 Vietnamese dong, aka $38 for this park. Yes, it is extremely expensive by Vietnamese standards, but I do think it's absolutely worth it because Ba Na Hills is quite an unforgettable experience. So why not? I'm actually just gonna pay and then go into one of these cars over here. Okay guys, I'm actually going to enter the funicular. Okay guys, I'm finally on the cable car, aka the funicular, and it looks absolutely amazing from up here. Yes, for 950,000 Vietnamese dong. I know it is quite expensive, but Da Nang residents only have to pay like 600,000. Now the scenery is absolutely epic. Yes, kind of like Switzerland, to be honest. And inside Ba Na Hills is actually a replica like European village. Now I've actually visited Europe so many times, like every single year when I was a child, basically except for the pandemic. And after the pandemic, I visited Europe in 2022, 2023, and also 2024. And I'm also planning to visit Europe in 2025. Now, despite the fact this is actually Asia and not Europe, this feels like the first time in 2025 I visited Europe, to be honest. Well, fun fact, because I actually did do a layover in Istanbul, Turkey, which is part of Europe. Therefore, I could technically say I've actually visited Europe in early 2025 by laying over at the Istanbul airport. Now over here is the Golden Bridge, aka the Han Bridge. Construction actually started in like 2017 but finished in 2018, and the bridge is around 150 meters long, and it was actually built by Sun Group over here. You can actually see. Yes, it is quite epic, to be honest. I've never actually been here, funny thing enough, because my first time to Vietnam since like this opened was actually like 2019, and I only stayed in Ho Chi Minh City by then to visit family. And since 2020, I've only visited Vietnam like twice, this year and last year, because of the pandemic. After about 20 minutes, I finally exited the bridge. Yes, it took 20 minutes, and now I'm in Gare Marseille over here. After a while, I finally arrived at the Golden Bridge over here, and it looks absolutely epic from up here. I know it is extremely expensive, like nearly $40 for tickets, but it is quite serene, to be honest. Absolutely beautiful, yes. Kind of reminds me of Switzerland a bit, and maybe some parts of the Dinaric Alps. But this is more reminiscent of certain parts of the Western European Alps, such as France and Switzerland, just because of how the hotels are actually laid out. Over here it is, the Golden Bridge, some bit more. Let me tell you guys some history of the Golden Bridge, despite its recent history. In fact, it actually opened at around the time I actually moved into the new apartment in Cambridge. Over here are more of the fingers, and over there is actually Chua Lin Ung, which is actually the Linh Ung temple. Yes, I'm not even joking. Yes, over there is actually a big statue of Buddha. Now, one cool facet of the Golden Bridge is it was actually designed to connect the cable car station with the gardens whilst avoiding a steep incline and to provide a scenic overlook and tourist attraction. And as you can see, there's actually a loop in the bridge, and the two hands were actually constructed of fiberglass and wire mesh, and they actually appear like stone hands that actually support the structure. Now, just like I said before, the length is actually 150 meters, but the width is actually 5 meters. And the client for the project was actually Sun Group, and the bridge was actually designed by TET Landscape Architecture under Ho Chi Minh City University of Architecture, based in Ho Chi Minh City. And the company's founder was actually Hoi An, who was actually the project's principal designer. And Tran Quang Hung was actually the bridge designer, and Nguyen Quang Hu Tran is actually the design manager. And over here, hot dog actually costs 100,000 Vietnamese dong. Now I'm currently on a balcony which actually overlooks Le Jardin d'Amour, as well as the temple, the Linh Ung temple over there. Now this is quite reminiscent of a replica European village, especially one up in the mountains. So I feel like this is kind of a mix of France and Switzerland. Now over here are some decorations for the Lunar New Year. Unfortunately, there are no snakes here from what I've seen. But over here is the sign Jardin d'Amour, which is the garden of love here. And yes, this is what the beginning of the garden actually looks like, with some artificial turf and bushes over here. But I'm actually going to go down a bit more to actually see what the garden is like. Now over here is a Lam Tui 2 house. And why not? I'm actually going to take a bit of a rest because it is kind of a bit hot outside, to be honest. Okay guys, over here are some of the people involved with the Sun Group, including the CEO and the founder. And the founder is still currently alive despite not being the CEO. Over here is the very first house, and from what I could see, it is actually closed. So why not? I'm actually going to cross through this bridge. Okay guys, yes. Now I'm actually going to go to the Linh Ung temple. And over there is actually a French style house. Now over here, as you can see, is actually a replica French garden. Okay guys, over here are some children, and over there is actually a dancing lady. And you can actually find flowers of all types. And yes, this is quite reminiscent of many European jardins, especially if you're in any chateau or anything. And over here is actually the Nhà hàng Bố Mẹ, which is actually a restaurant. And this is what the interior of the restaurant actually looks like. And you can even see this, which is actually a lion fountain, kind of reminiscent of the mannequin piss and many fountains in European gardens. I visited so many, in fact, including Versailles, Belvedere, Chambord, and Hofburg, and even Monaco as well, Le Pensier Palace, and they all have something like this. Now down there is more of the garden, and yes, it is absolutely epic, to be honest. Kind of like any French garden, especially royal ones. Now down there is actually called the Eden Garden. You could also see one of the windmills as well, kind of reminiscent of the Netherlands and Belgium and stuff. And down there is actually another part of the garden over here, the lower terrace of the garden. I'm now down in the garden, and as you can see, you can actually see some fish over here, and even more birds and stuff. Yes, it is quite epic, and you can't even tell if you're even in Vietnam or in Europe, because this seems kind of reminiscent of Europe, to be honest, despite having a lot of Asian people. And over here is another fountain of sorts. Now I've actually seen a lot of similar things, like when I was in Europe. And yes, I'm now returning back up once again. Okay guys, after a few minutes I finally arrived at the Linh Ung pagoda over here, and you could actually see some Mahayana flags as well as a lion over here. So why not? I'm actually going to go down to see what it's all about. And over there is actually a big statue of Buddha. Now over there is actually the Lin Ung temple. And this whole like Buddha is actually 27 meters tall. I'm not even joking. It is extremely big. To be honest, nowhere as big as the reclining Buddha in Thailand, however, but still, it is extremely big. And over there where you lay your incenses and stuff, I do believe so. And here is where you actually get them. They're called Nyang, by the way, yeah. And over there is actually the gate. And you can actually see waterfalls and stuff. Kind of serene, to be honest. But why not? I'm actually gonna go down. Okay, guys, I'm now going to go further down the temple. Like this. And you can actually see, I do believe that is Buddha, if I'm not too sure. And once you go down here, you can actually see an entire pagoda. Yes, over there is actually the Buddha, and why not? I'd enter the pagoda. Not to worship, just to take a look. Okay, guys, over there are actually some Chinese characters, and why not? Let's enter the pagoda. Here is another worshiping place, and over there is a drum. Now over there, if you can't see, are actually golden mandarins being grown here, as well as yellow apricot flowers. Now I'm currently at the balcony, and in here you would actually find some furniture. Yes, this is just kind of more modernistic, but over here actually ancient Vietnamese furniture. My parents actually have these, and over there is actually Ban Chung over there. And as you can see, TET 2025. And why not? I'm actually going to show you guys one of the houses, shall we? Over there is just Buddha, one of the statues. And if you can see, this is actually one of the buildings of the temple. And I'll show you guys another room. Yes, over there you can see some recent dead monks. I'm not sure if they're actually associated to the temple or if they're not. But over here it is. I'm now going to go up and potentially leave the temple, possibly for the old town. But I heard roller coaster actually does cost money, to be honest. But to be honest, I'm not going to ride any roller coasters due to my acrophobia. Over there is actually the Buddha, and why not? I'll actually climb these stairs, shall we? I'm actually kind of scared I might fall due to my acrophobia, but I'm going to hold these rails. Yes, more like stones, to be honest, but whatever. I'm now approaching the Debay wine cellar over here, and from what I've heard, it actually costs additional money because there are actually tickets for this. After a while at Le Pont, Les Jardins, et l'Église, I finally am going to go to the city, yes, La Ville. I'm not joking, over there is the French village, and I'm now going to embark on the escalator. Okay guys, I'm finally now in a cable car, and over there are some castles and stuff. It is kind of reminiscent of Disney World Paris, sort of. I'm not sure if you could actually see a real French city because I've actually never been to Ba Na Hills, SunWorld before. Despite the fact I lived in Vietnam during my childhood and actually visit Vietnam quite often as a child. And after about 5 minutes, I'm finally in Gare Louvre over here, the Louvre station. And now it starts to decidedly look like, I do believe, France. Now I'm finally in, yes, a French village, or so they call it. I'm not sure how authentic it is, but I would think you would definitely get a far more authentic experience if you were to land in Antibes or Marseille or something, Nice. There's so many others like Montpellier, Nantes, Lyon, Paris, Bordeaux, Toulouse and stuff. But over there is actually where the cable car station actually is, as well as a restaurant. Yes, the Four Seasons buffet. And now we finally entered. Yes, look at it. You could actually get Alpine coffee over here. And yes, this is quite reminiscent of any replica of a French village. Kind of like how the Chinese would actually build. I'm not sure if this is the restaurant or not, but over here is actually Little Tokyo. But unfortunately, it seems as if the amphitheater is actually closed as of today. And now here we are in the gates that actually enters the official center of the French village. Yes, I've visited Europe so many times, and let me tell you guys, it is more like some Disney World version of Europe and not like a real Europe. Now I'm finally inside the center of the supposed village. Over there is actually a Thai restaurant, and if you were to see, over there is actually a sushi bar, hot pot buffet and deep fried chicken. Yes, Rosa. So right now I'm actually going to go around this, but this is quite reminiscent of any castle, including the Prague castle, even the Bled castle, to be honest. So not really a village, but more of the interior of a castle. Now I'm entering the church, aka L'Église, and this is quite a small cathedral, to be honest. But I'm not sure if there are many ornate frescoes like the ones I've seen throughout Europe, from Western all the way to Eastern Europe. Okay guys, I'm now in the church, and it looks a lot better than many chapels. This church is actually built in a neo-Gothic style. Now fortunately I could be really loud in here because this is not a worship site in the sense of like European ones, but yes, it does resemble the Stephansdom Cathedral in Vienna, albeit in a more miniature form. Now over here is the stereotypical French village. Yes, quite stereotypical to be honest, but nonetheless, there is some intricate attention to detail, even in these villages, to be honest. And even though it is almost certainly fake, it is definitely for sure like sort of resembles the real deal, to be honest. This kind of ostensibly resembles a French village, but in reality I don't really assume so much. This is more of a castle, to be honest. You could also find Vietnamese cuisine over there, and I do assume this is more of an Asian style village over here. And now the chef is actually Pham Thuy and Thuy. And you can actually find more northern meals over here. Now over there is actually the spiritual zone, and it takes 172 steps to go up there. So still less than that of some towers in Europe, such as the Berlin Cathedral, where it takes at least 200 something steps to actually get up to the dome. Okay guys, I'm now getting up the spiritual zone, which kind of resembles really anything, either Chinese or Japanese, I'm not too sure. I'm actually going up to the spiritual zone over here, and over there is actually the temple. I'm now trying to get myself up there to actually like take a look around, because I'm an atheist, so I'm not gonna worship anybody. Now on the way up is actually the True Vu Tea Corner over here, and I'm actually going to go in to show you guys what it's all about. Now you can actually buy some tea in here and actually sit like at the vegan restaurant in Ho Chi Minh City that you've seen in the beginning of the video. I'm currently up by now, and over there is actually the Linh Phong Tower, and over there is actually the Steady Hall, and you could find some sculptures over here. Now I'm actually in the Linh Phong Tower, and the Linh Phong Tower is designed with 9 stories. Each floor has 4 sides with the white stone statue of Sakyamuni Buddha facing the 4 directions. Around the tower stands the imposing and benevolent statues of the 4 great heavenly kings who are actually in God. Over here you can actually see, and In there you can actually worship, but I do believe it's claustrophobic. You can actually see Buddha inside. I'm now finally going to ascend a bit more to the study hall. And unfortunately this entry is barricaded. Now over there, if you can't see, it's actually the Campanile. Now in here is the study hall, and as you can see, I'm not sure if I can actually stand or if I will bump my head, because it does say 1.8 meters. Oh, it's kind of lucky, to be honest. I do believe this is far taller than 2 meters, if anything. And over here, I'm not sure what it is, but I think this is actually the stele of some sort. Now over here is a 2-story tall campanile, and over there is actually, I do believe, the pagoda, but I'm not too sure. I'm now getting inside the campanile, and then I'm going to go up to the 2nd floor, and I'll show you guys what it looks like. As you guys can see, there are actually some sculptures of certain monks. Now this campanile actually overlooks the chateau over here, the castle, and now down there is actually an amusement park of some sort. I'm not sure if I would actually ride any amusement park. I have not ridden one in years, but yes, you can actually see the village as well as certain parts of the temple complex. Now over here is the statue of the Buddha, aka the laughing and fat Buddha. And now I'm actually in the Lin Chua Lin Tu temple over here. Now you do have to take your shoes off, and this is what the temple actually looks like. Now over here it is. You could actually worship numerous Chinese gods and goddesses. Here's some. And here's some more. Now over there, if you can see, is actually the pagoda, Lin Fong Tien Tu Pagoda. And why not, I'm actually going to go this direction, which would take us to a Mahayana Buddhist temple. Now I finally arrived at the pagoda. Yes, as you can see, a statue of Buddha, rather than just all these Chinese gods and goddesses. And over there is a Buddhist monk playing the drum, actually the bell. Now this pagoda is based on many northern Vietnamese pagodas, and it has an area of 650 square meters, and it was built of ironwood. And the pagoda campus was actually designed to 2 rows. One is the left and the other is the right house, with Buddha statues and 18 Arhats who are in God. And over there are actually some of the Arhats you can actually see. So why not, let's enter the Buddhist temple, shall we? Now I'm on my way to the medieval fair over here, where you could actually find a Mercure hotel. I'm not even joking. I've actually slept in several Mercure hotels throughout Europe. A Renault 4CV, another 4CV, a train station to Da Nang, aka cable car station, as well as a mini amusement park over here. Now the very last thing I'm gonna do is to ride the swing over here. I do believe it is actually free. And after this, I'm actually going to return to the taxi so I could actually pick up my clothing, actually eat, and then go to the airport before the flight actually left me behind. Now, this is the very first time since the pandemic I've actually ridden on any tourist attractions except in Prater in Austria. I just exited the ride, and despite the fact the ride was actually fun, in fact, I was actually terrified due to my acrophobia and stuff. I am even terrified of the swing, let alone the roller coaster. So why not? I'm actually going to return to the cable car. Okay guys, I'm currently on a cable car, which would actually take me back to civilization once again. After about 15 minutes, I finally arrived outside here at the ground level. Okay guys, after a while I decided to take another Grab, yes, rather than the previous driver, because the previous driver did not actually respond. So here it is, another Grab. I'm now heading to a restaurant before actually walking to the hotel, getting my clothing, and then going to the airport to fly to Hanoi. I'm now very close to my destination, and over there is actually BBQ chicken. There's actually one location in Cambridge and maybe several in Boston. And I also found 1 or 2 locations in Quincy, to be honest. Specifically in North Quincy. Now, if you don't know, BBQ chicken is actually a Korean chicken chain. Okay guys, luckily I'm only being charged 500,000 Vietnamese dong, which is quite expensive, but because of all the surge prices with Grab, because of the closing of Ba Na Hills, therefore if I were to book through Grab, I do have to pay like 700,000 Vietnamese dong, which is extortionate, to be honest. And no Grab driver would actually take me, so therefore actually I booked the 2 directions, which would have costed 560,000 dong, and luckily this guy actually told me. So yeah, there you go. Now I'm currently at the Cơm Tam, which is actually broken rice. I'm actually going to look for a table. Okay guys, despite the fact it's expensive, in my opinion, I'm actually going to choose this, which is actually broken rice with grilled pork chop, shredded pork skin, steamed egg and fried egg. Okay guys, here's my food. I only paid $3 for this. Yes, 75,000 dong. Okay guys, I just finished eating. I'm very close to the hotel, and guess what I actually saw? A Scion XD. I'm not even joking. If you don't know, Scion is an American offshoot of Toyota, mainly for like millennials or like Gen X or something. Over here it is, yes, Scion, a brand you typically don't even encounter in Vietnam. But yeah, if you were to encounter, you might encounter a Toyota Urban Cruiser and not a Scion. Now the reason why I was pointing it out was because before owning the Tesla, I actually used to own a Scion XD. After a while on a taxi, I finally arrived at the Da Nang International Airport over here. Now I'm actually gonna check in, and then I'm gonna go straight to the lounge. And overall, here are some of my thoughts about Hoi An and Ba Na Hills. Well, despite the fact both are quite charmful and stuff, in fact Hoi An is quite touristy and over-visited, and the food is quite expensive, to be honest, but there's some unique charm, idiosyncratic charm. And same with Ba Na Hills. Ba Na Hills does not really have a tourism problem, just more of a price problem, to be honest. It is quite expensive, $40, basically more expensive than many hotels in Vietnam, to be honest. So I do believe these two are actually worth it to visit, but only like once or twice. So thank you guys for watching. Please give a big thumbs up, subscribe for more videos, and I'm gonna see you guys soon.